Alright guys, here we're going to talk about Season 2, Episode 17 of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Passion.
Oh, it's called that, because, okay, yeah. Angel gives this nice little bookends here.
He is the narrator of the episode.
Yeah, which is unusual.
Very.
I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was odd.
So you already know something's up.
Indeed. Well, like, it starts off, he's just this brazen motherfucker. He's like in the club. He's in the bronze, just like looking at her. Like, okay, she could look up at any time and see you and then want you dead, but no, doesn't see you.
He kills the chick right as they're walking by.
You would have heard the body fall. He was so
crazy,
close.
yes.
Yeah, he didn't give a shit. And then he's in her bedroom, and like I'm like okay. And Spike kind of nails this for me when he's like, okay, well, what the fuck are you doing? And he's like, it's tactics. You see, you mess with her head, and then you can kill her easily. I'm like, she was asleep, you fuck.
So, yeah.
You could have dropped a brick on her head, and she'd be dead.
So I think I'm just dense, because up until this episode, not that I believed Angel, I was like, well, he can't kill Buffy because the show is named after her. But I think now we are meant to believe that like he literally is like, he likes her and does not want to kill her. Is that true? Like, what's going on here?
He certainly does. I think it's too heavy into the he likes to play the cat and mouse game.
Yeah.
And like, I like a good cat and mouse game too, but ultimately that should be when you are a cat and they are a mouse. They are on equal footing here. If not, he is behind her.
I was about to think, remember the Venture Brothers, the game of cat and also cat? I was thinking of that immediately, yes.
But that's perfect. More or less what we have here.
Yes.
So the idea of like playing with your food here, you don't have that luxury.
She could have
kill you at any point.
Yeah. Yes, yeah.
She could wake up and just kill you, like.
Yes, and I don't know. Sometimes vampires can like control themselves more, and they're quiet because their strength translates to like very whatever. I don't know if that's happening here.
But even if you are a fully
wheelchairs.
poised and composed gymnast, you still have to open the window. That would make noise.
Yes.
The floor could creak. Anything could happen, and something like Joyce could just walk by to get water, and there you are in the bedroom drawing, which takes a certain amount of attention.
The drawings are insane because he's
pretty good.
But he's doing like Titanic style, like, oh, this is my truck hole, my sketches and my etches and stuff
on a very
like
heavyweight paper. It's fancy old school paper.
Yes, which Giles does not clock later, but we'll get to that. But yes, this ancient parchment-y looking awesome paper. I'm like, he's old. The paper doesn't have to be old. I picture him like going to like the specialty art store. No, do you have anything thicker and like more old looking? Sir, we are about to close. I know. I had to get here at a certain time. It's this long side thing. He doesn't just have rolls of scrolls in his fancy apartment, right?
Well,
probably
I don't think he even uses the apartment anymore because that would be stupid because she knows where that is. And not that she doesn't know where the warehouse is, which is also dumb.
Right.
Like, there's no real element of surprise ever taken, it seems, by these people. Like, yes, at any moment, Buffy could have just burst in there during the daytime and done similarly what she's doing to them. Like, you're living in fear. He can walk into your house at any time, proven this, because he's drawn you, he's drawn your mom, he can get into Cordelia's car.
I love that part.
And, like, the audience all goes, like, he was in Willow's house. Oh, God. Like,
oh, good, yeah, because once it cuts to her in, like, her PJs, it, like, clicked for me. Like, oh, wait a minute. Wasn't he in there, like, can you hack more? And she's like, hold on, you're creeping me out.
Yep.
Right? And I was like, oh, no. Yeah.
When she pulls the fish out on like as if they're popcorn that would go around your tree, I was like, oh my God. Like that was effective. And like I think the first time I saw it, I was like, huh. She has like one fish. It's like hidden somewhere. Like what do you think? She dropped in like a good amount of food, so you assume she has a good amount of fish. So like it was there for your hawk-eyed viewer. I like that.
I assumed like television doesn't have fish. You just have fish tanks. So I don't even notice those things.
I think something you catch a lot in television things is like these like little bullshit fish. They're like fake and they just like kind of like bob. But even that we didn't have because they're dead. And I like that. So the fish thing happens, and like Willow's like, I gotta get the fuck out of here. She sleeps over at Buffy's house, and like you catch Garlic on the bedpost, and she's holding a steak. And I like the callback of Garlic because we don't really ever talk Garlic, but we do see it here and there, and I'm like, okay, there's something there.
Right, it's in Buffy's like trunk of like I have all of my implements, my vials of things. Yeah.
I like that just because it's goofy because I'm like, do we ever establish it actually does anything? No. Maybe it's just a belief thing. Who knows?
There's a lot like that it's kind of. I mean, so just to like the invitation thing, they call out now and they like go through, which I liked.
Yes.
So for the audience, because for this whole time, I'm like, can't you just undo it? And Giles is like, no, it's permanent. And he's like, well, there should be a spell though, and we have this whole thing, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, but it also works off of like written things on like the school because the school says like, oh no,
that was a joke.
Enter here. Was it?
Yeah, vampires go to school all the time.
Well, why did Angel say that? What do you mean?
I think it was a joke. I think Miss Calendar saying that was like, oh, I didn't notice. Like, how did you get in this room? I didn't see anyone come in this room. It wasn't an actual thing. They can go into public areas.
We haven't established that on the show yet, though.
Yeah, school hard. Spike and his whole people burst into the school.
Well, okay, yes, but she says that, and then he answers her like that. That was all fake or something?
I think that's because Angelus is a cheeky bitch. I think that was just him being cheeky.
But she doesn't react like, oh, whatever. Okay, fine.
Well, that was her being a smart person rolling back and reading back the Latin or Italian or whatever the fuck it was. And like, yeah, I wouldn't take any of that because across the whole series of the show, vampires come and go through businesses and
I thought it was another
all the time.
inconsistency or something with that whole thing.
I guess you could take it that way. I always took it as like that's just them riffing.
It felt super weird to be like a not to take seriously thing.
Maybe.
But if that was the case, I was gonna be like, what about welcome mats?
Well,
haha, touche.
Yeah.
But yes, whatever.
Well, exactly that. That's why you can't take that because like he kills her uncle like in his office. Like I'm sure there was no like come into my office for learning.
That was a hotel.
What does that mean?
Because Slavoj, like whatever, was in town, so he was staying at a hotel.
I assumed it was like a Romanian consulate.
Perhaps a Romanian hotel.
I would assume Sunnydale has all the different consulates.
All the embassies.
Yeah, the embassies.
All the different things. Get your paperwork done.
Just makes sense.
No, but we're talking about what like the whole point of this episode is. This is the point where I was like, because my notes are just like, oh shit, or something. Like this is when like it happens. The thing that we've been talking about and dancing around this whole time. Angel is finally the one who kills Miss Calendar.
Yes.
In a spectacular fashion.
And he kills her. He doesn't bite her, doesn't drain her. It is just to kill her.
He breaks her neck in front of a giant window.
Yes.
And at first I was like, what the fuck? Throw her out the window. This is a horrible way to like cover this crime or like do whatever. But luckily he has a plan involved, right?
Yes.
So, I'm like,
so
okay,
he's a sadistic bastard, as we've said before. Like even the little sprinklings earlier on where he goes up to Buffy's mom, yeah, we fucked. Like that's fucking harsh.
It's
because
awesome.
she's young and that's her mom. That's 30. But this whole shit where like Miss Calendar was planning on meeting up with Giles anyway, and potentially Angel was right outside the room listening to all that shit happen, so he might even have known.
You have to kind of believe a lot of that.
Yeah, so he has a rose, he has fucking like champagne on ice, there's fucking shit ready to go.
He knows how to show Giles a good
go
time.
upstairs, yeah. And there's Jenny dead in the fucking bed, and like Giles is like Anthony Stewart had an amazing actor. This I think he is on record saying is his favorite episode. Ooh. And he displays such like his face. He's like giddy. He's like happy. He's like got this big smile, and it's there perfectly to build Buttercup up, just to let him down.
Ooh, mess you around.
And it does.
No, I love like face acting. I don't know what it's really called, but like when someone's like emoting. Yeah, I was just gonna say. Yeah, so like his whole journey of like because I think outside the door there's something, and he goes, oh.
Yeah, there's a rose like hung up in like the gilding of the metal of his door,
and then like goes through the whole thing, and then the way because it like takes him a second to realize it, but like her eyes are open. It's not even just like she's not breathing or she's sleeping. Like the eyes are wide.
She was
open.
Breathing because she's an actress and she's alive, and it's. But yes, I know what you're saying.
Like he's realizing it because like there's no rushing over and being like, oh shit, like what's going on? He's like, oh no, you're like, I've seen death before. I'm the Ripper. I understand that she's fucking dead.
No, that's a brutal moment.
Yeah.
And I love like. The cops are right there. He's in shock.
Yeah, no, there's like an awesome... It's not quite the transition that my head turns it into, but it's like a close-up on him looking at her body and being like, whatever.
Yeah.
And then I would have loved like the flashing red and blue lights to start without a cut, but there's like a brief cut. And then, and then it like pulls out from his head.
It's an okay transition.
It's real, for TV, for whatever, it's awesome. And I'm like, that's great. Because, he has the same like look of like devastation, and then it pulls out, and the cop's like, we gotta just ask you some questions, or he's doing that. He's like, oh...
He makes that phone call though, and I'd love to know like where was he when he made the phone call? Because like what on that end did he say? Because he had to convey what happened, and I in shock. I wonder if he was like it was Angel killed Bob, like because he couldn't say any of those things in front of the cops, and just saying Jenny's dead is enough that it wrecks Willow. Like, she's across the series.
Who am I gonna computer science now?
Her sad face is so fucking good.
Yeah.
Oh man. And like Buffy's mom, like she's like, oh, and like immediately consoling Willow, and like Buffy's just like on the ground, like dying inside.
Yeah, she does like the slide down the.
It's all her fault.
Thing.
So
it's
yeah.
Great. No, it's great, and then it cuts to Angel outside, who gets this awesome smile.
Yeah,
like,
he's waiting the whole time.
I love it. This is great. Yeah, this is a good episode.
It is a good episode. You can see why Anthony Stewart Head likes it the best.
This is another one that kind of feels like a like finale of sorts, because we get all these big things and moments for the actors.
Yeah, there's some good
There's been
emotion.
very little filler in this season, which is good.
No, yeah, there's not a lot of. There's like a little bit of quip here and there.
Yeah.
We get Jonathan and someone else coming in to get a library book, which is only the
God.
second time anyone's ever
Yes.
come into the library looking for books. And Xander again, like, what are you? Don't you knock? What the fuck are you doing in
So
here?
good. And
It's a library.
And they're like, we need books. And he's like, this is like a Barnes & Noble to you. And
Yeah.
Giles is like, it's the school library. And he's like, since when? Like, what are you talking about? That scene's amazing. And how they just peace out, and then the kids come back. Is it what? And they're just gone. Like, it's such a funny lampshading of the fact that like this is all happening in like the library. Why is there no? Why are kids never there? Well, why does nothing ever happen?
Yeah.
No one's ever like, I need to do a report. Where's the can someone help me with the card catalog or the microfiche? Like, none of that ever happens. It's just always there, war room for these things.
Yeah.
And this is great.
It's pretty nice.
Undercuts it fabulously.
I enjoyed another thing was Xander kind of proclaiming himself as like hipster angel hater. He's like, listen guys, I've hated him since before it was cool. I've been telling you all along. I think it's about time somebody does kill this guy. And like you can see it finally clicking with Buffy. Like, I do have to kill this guy.
Yeah.
Like this is ridiculous. Like we all lived in fear for a moment. My mom could have been killed, and now Jenny is dead. Now, like we weren't on the best of terms, but I know that she was bringing Giles happiness. She even goes above and beyond to like step in there.
Things were like ratcheting up.
And I like that. It shows how
exactly.
big of a person she is. Like she's like, I don't want him to be like, because she is lonely.
Yes.
She doesn't want him to be lonely too.
She's like, I've experienced emotional pain now. I don't think anyone should ever have to go through that. No, yeah, this episode's kind of about her, because like it's she starts with being like, okay, like curse him again, do something, earlier, and now she was like, well, can we undo the like invitation situation? Yeah. And she was like, and that's the journey or whatever. And then Jenny goes off on her own to try to like get Angel's soul back and all that. And that's a cool whole thing.
Well, because Giles' whole thing, you don't have to make it up to me. You got to make it up to her. And she's like, okay, how can I do that? I can do this.
Exactly.
She uses her fucking techno-pagan hacking bullshit to translate some bullshit.
And we watch all this like mostly fail, but then Buffy doesn't quite know about the loose ends. But this is about her sort of coming around from that kick in the nuts of being like, I need more time thing, to now being like, I'm done with that. I don't need any more time.
The whole thing, it brings me back to the episode where she kicked Angel in the nuts and just left him. I can't understand the leaving him aspect. I can understand the not killing him. You could bind him up, you could tie him up, you could do some stuff. The whole leaving him, I'm like everything, like, because many people died from here to there.
Yeah.
And you're like, this is all on your head. You really, I know you're like a young girl, but the actions have consequences.
No, it's tough, and I think that we're meant to be like, it was her first time. She loved him a lot.
Yeah, and I can fully get that for not killing him.
Yes.
That makes sense.
Right.
Like, ball and chain that guy, put him in a mausoleum, something forever.
My head always goes to like silver coffin. I don't know if that works in this case, but whatever. Yes, I don't know, and her leaving him's one thing, but the whole gang was there, and I don't know if they even, because they often
fought kind of off in the side though.
They kind of like wrap up the episodes though sometimes.
Yeah.
Kind of like, wouldn't someone have been like, wait, what, and like done something and like talked about it? But it's like, it's fine.
So the very last shot is like, the floppy disk falling between the desk here.
Yes.
The floppy disk, the only remnant surviving from this, because Angel does smash her computer, which then sets a flame, and he uses that flame to then burn the dot matrix printout.
He's doing a like Shakespearean soliloquy here. It's a great little moment for him and acting and all that stuff. But yes, he's like, oh, look, a fire, how convenient, ha 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 ha. And Miss Calendar, I think, kind of like no-sells it, where she knows that there's a floppy output. But like when he goes to tear the paper, she's like, no, and all that stuff has a nice little thing. Like, okay, cool.
I'm trying to save you, like thinking, will this help you?
Yeah, but he's like, I don't want to be saved. I've been saved before. Didn't like it.
Yeah. So like her dying is definitely powerful. It was actually very close to being Oz who died here. Joss said that they were going to kill Oz, but thought that he might have a better impact across the show, so they
Somewhere
left
toys
him
of
alive.
Oz.
And Miss Calendar was super mad because she's like, the show was just getting popular. Like around this time, this was getting to be a hit show, and she's like, and I'm fucking dead.
No, and like I did not remember her character really at all, and I feel
You've
like,
been predicting this for quite a while for that exact reason.
well, but that's what I'm saying. But now it makes even more sense because like if you had not seen this exact episode, and you had just because she's not on every episode.
No, yeah.
So like depending on like how like TV, you're really like randomly watching it. If I didn't watch this episode, which I apparently did not, I would have just never noticed that she was kind of been fine.
Yeah.
And she might come up later, and that's going to blow my theory or something. But yes, we get the whole like I lied to you, but I never expected to fall in love. Like we do that whole fucking thing. Like they did the thing,
which was almost her death sentence right there. You're like, oh, it's this episode. She's gonna die this episode.
Well, and I don't want to say that it feels rushed, but I feel like they kind of like threw together her and Giles doing stuff to have the weird reveal, and then they kind of pushed it again now to kind of have this. It feels like it should have been a little more drawn out over some more episodes.
I would have kept her around, honestly. I don't think I would have killed her. And they kill her in such a way where you're like, okay, I guess you've dotted the I's here. She's got, like, because he snaps her neck. He doesn't bite her. She's not going to come back as a vampire.
No.
You killed her. She's
and like,
dead.
Once the cops are involved, and like, unless you're John Ritter, but once the cops are involved and like body bagging you, it's like, okay,
it's pretty much over.
You're dead. No one's going to show up. Maybe, who knows? But I don't think like the vampires can't even go to her corpse now and do something, right? The vampirism doesn't work like that on this show, I think.
Yeah, no, you have to take their blood. I believe while you're living, you must ingest their blood as they bite your blood, whatever.
Something like that. Yeah.
And Joss was saying how he made sure Angel kills him in vamp face and not as Angel because he thought it would be an unredeemable act.
Ooh, girl. Okay.
And I kind of can agree with that.
That's
or like,
interesting.
you kind of need to separate Angel and Angelus and have all the really bad things happen, like, with the face on.
Oh, interesting.
Because even some of the things he says while in regular Angel face, I'm like, oh, that's cutting. That's a deep blow. Like, if I were in a relationship with you, I might not be able to separate these things. Like, that is like, it's like if you dated a twin and the twin just shit all over you, you'd be like, fuck you.
Yeah, because he does go out there and stuff. We get like a face morph in this, by the way. I'm sorry this is the first time you see it morphing on screen, though, right?
Is it?
I think usually they just cut to it.
Oh,
I might be wrong,
know.
but I remember being like, holy shit, they morphed it or something. It might have happened before, but I think usually they just cut to the person and like they have the face or something.
Yeah, or rise up into the shots.
And they go, I'm the thing now. But you're right. Yeah, he does do that whole, the separation. Angelus. Buffy whipped Angelus, he says. Spike says. I like Buffy whipped. That's very funny to me.
Something that I really liked was the shopkeeper who sells her the orb.
10 out of 10.
I love when he realizes, oh, you're not just some idiot, and drops the accent.
It's wonderful.
I was like, oh, good.
Little things like that are such a nice touch for the whole thing.
Yeah.
'Cause he's like, love potion, perhaps a voodoo doll, and then she's like, I need the orb of Castalis, and he's like, oh, I'm sorry, you're in the business. Closes the curtains, does the whole thing. I'm like, oh, this is amazing.
Yeah.
Hey, he's dead. They show him die. He's dead. Drew goes to visit him.
I don't think they show it, but it's implied.
I'm assuming he's dead.
I like Buffy explain the Joys because she can't really reveal what's happening. So it's kind of just like, I'm talking to this guy. He's kind of getting stalkery. Don't let him in the house.
Things are getting a little strained with that, and this is something else as like a casual television watcher where I'm like, I don't know if Joyce is ever in on it. I hope we don't get to the end of season 7 and she's like, wait, is he a vampire? Or something happens, which might happen.
Have you ever tried not being a mutant?
Yeah, it feels very weird to me that we have to keep doing all this gas leak and whatever stuff. And in this episode, she eventually says like, oh, don't worry about that Latin or whatever. He's just very superstitious. And I'm like, listen, Joyce is not an idiot. She's very whatever. But no, I like how their conversations mirror like, oh, she fucked an older guy who turned out to be a monster.
He's too old for you. Well, he is too old for you.
Right? It's a very nice. And I don't know if it's a Whedon-y thing or like a whatever 90s thing or something, but it's very nice. Like, it's not a very special episode of Buffy, but it's a little edgy and it's a little...
Yeah, you get a lot of those peppered in like every other episode. There's something you can take that way.
It's like relevant or whatever. It's like a message that they can say where it's like all these things because they have, she even says like, oh, so that was the talk, I guess, or something. Yeah. Like, but we as the audience know, oh no, it's not that. It's something crazy and like outlandish. But no, it also is that. It also, is. Right?
I didn't like like Giles kind of chimes in when she's like, oh, you know, I have to tell my mom. No. And like his advice is kind of bad, where it's like, oh, just ignore it and it will go away. And I'm like very easily everything could die. And I think it almost mirrors like by you not taking it seriously enough, Giles, that calendar's dead. Like you all should have gone into like lockdown mode and like nobody should have gone anywhere.
Yeah.
Like honestly, like we do really like hand wave a lot of things that are very serious. And I think like going into them knowing these things, and I don't expect the kids. They think they'll live forever. They're 17, but like Giles kind of should have known better.
I can read that two ways. One is kind of like woke, where it's like Giles is like the guy who's like, oh no, boys will be boys. He'll get over it. Just like ignore it and it'll go away. Whereas it's like, no, we have to report this. This is like stalking. This is like a serious thing. Seriously. But also more importantly, I think yes, you're right that later when they break down over everything, there's a great scene in the end when Buffy saves Giles.
Yes.
We didn't say this, but Giles goes sicko mode and he takes all of his weapons.
For a minute there, and especially because Spike is like had it up to here with Angel, and he's like, oh no, let them fight.
They're like busy,
So it's just one-on-one Giles versus Angel, and Giles is as pissed off as a British boy can get, and he has a baseball bat on fire, I want to say, or something like that, and he's just railing on him, and like for a minute there, you're like, oh right, I think this old man might actually do something.
It's going well for him.
He was pretty blinded by rage, though. I think he might have tried to end it a little sooner had he been level-headed.
Yeah, I mean, I like him firebombing from off camera
of
to
course.
interrupt the conversation is cool.
I would have had more than one of those. I would have had like 10 of those.
Right, you would expect, and like there's gonna. He does use a crossbow.
Yeah, crossbows him once in the shoulder or something.
Right, but that's a weapon. Doesn't he just like shoot it and then like drop it?
Yes.
Like he's like,
well, because the reload would take too long.
That's what I'm saying. Is like he's doing this efficient like the
Punisher. No, it was pretty nice.
Walking in, doing everything once and twice and 3 times. No, it's great. But like after that's over, Buffy saves him, right? And she has to choose like, do I keep kicking Angel's ass or do I save Giles? She saved Giles. Outside though, they have a great scene where it's more like Shakespeare stuff. Shakespeare's gonna be very pissed off at me for saying all this.
He's rolling.
We infinite power. Just hook up a generator to Shakespeare's grave.
That's got legs.
She like punches him and because he's like, why'd you come here? It's not your fight. Blah blah blah. The usual Pat stuff. But then she punches him and it focuses on her still, and she gets the like ugly crying face.
Oh yeah.
And it's like really good. And then she goes to hug him, says like, I need you. You like you can't do this. He is weeping in her arms. He's like vibrating, like weeping and crying. It's a
great moment. It's powerful.
It's so good that they have to just like dissolve out of it because like I don't know what to go.
Yeah, it's not pulling out of this.
It's getting too weird. Yeah, no, it was like I was like, this is awesome.
You can feel that true honest relationship. I don't want to lose you, so like I will hurt you if I have to.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yes, and it like does justice because Anthony Stewart had the great performance earlier about it, but it's not this isolated thing where he's sad, but then we have to get on with the stupid show. It like bookends the sadness at the end again with like he's fucking weeping. He's like breaking down, like like can't do it. That's great.
He got to hit like a lot of marks. Like I could see why he really likes this episode because he got to be an action hero. He got the real dramatic stuff. He even got a bit of humor like when he first goes to Buffy after Joyce now knows that she's not a virgin anymore. She's like, oh, should I go step in there and talk on her behalf? And Willow very very astutely says like, what would you say? And he's like, okay then.
Oh.
Or even her believing that like maybe he's a virgin and is like, oh, she found out about it. You do know what it is, right?
I thought because you're a librarian you might not know what's going on right now. He's like, no, I know. It's wonderful. Yeah, no, it's great. And like because he's the fuddy-duddy or something like that. And it's a good contrast where later he's like, nope, I'm filling this duffel bag with gasoline and crossbows and I'm leaving. Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah.
I like this episode. I think
this is another good one. I'm getting worried because like eventually there has to be filler, right? So we're just waiting to roll the dice. Is there just no filler on the whole show? I'd say like of course there's episodes that don't go anywhere. Like you have Creature of the Week episodes are technically filler because they're not about the overarching plot. But you always have a little bit of progression of people. And I think even in your filler episodes, they're generally funny or action filled, or they're the ones where like, oh, I don't even have to know what the show is. I can just watch this episode type of episodes. No, I'm joking. I just feel like I've been spoiled with a lot of like arc-heavy episodes now, and I'm waiting for this wave to break and for us to just be like, we forgot about all that. We're just random characters doing week of the week stuff or whatever. Yeah, but for now, very much enjoying this little run here in the middle of season 2.
Indeed. So that's pretty much everything that happens in episode 17 here. So until next time, guys, we're going to be picking back up with season 2, episode 18. Don't Die in a Fire, and we'll see you then.
Hello, internets. I just love watching JustDaggers. If you've enjoyed this video as much as I have, click that subscribe button. Peace out, homies.